The Crimean War, fought between 1853 and 1856, was a significant turning point in 19th-century geopolitics and a defining moment for the Ottoman Empire. Rooted in decades of tension between the Ottoman Empire and the Russian Empire, the war was more than a military confrontation. It was a symbol of shifting alliances, the decline of old empires, and the rise of modern warfare. The roots of the conflict stretched back to Russia's long-standing desire to expand southward into Ottoman territory and gain control of the Black Sea and access to the Mediterranean. The Russian Empire sought to present itself as the protector of Orthodox Christians within the Ottoman lands, but this claim was viewed with suspicion and resentment by the Ottomans, who saw it as a veiled attempt at interference and territorial ambition. The immediate spark that ignited the war was a dispute over the rights of Christian minorities in the Holy Land, particularly between Roman Catholics backed by France and Orthodox Christians supported by Russia. The Ottomans attempted to manage the situation diplomatically, but Russian demands soon escalated beyond religious rights and extended to political control. In 1853, Russian forces occupied the Danubian Principalities, modern-day Romania, prompting the Ottomans to declare war. The war quickly evolved into a broader European conflict when Great Britain and France, alarmed by Russian aggression and the potential collapse of the Ottoman Empire, joined the Ottomans in March 1854. Sardinia-Piedmont, eager to gain favor with the Western powers, later joined the alliance as well. The primary theater of war became the Crimean Peninsula, where the Allies launched a large-scale invasion aimed at capturing the Russian naval base at Sevastopol. The war saw intense fighting, including the bloody battles of Alma, Balaclava, and Inkerman. The infamous charge of the Light Brigade occurred during the Battle of Balaclava, a tragic and heroic episode that highlighted the confusion and mismanagement common in the war. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Crimean War was the transformation of medical care and military logistics. The horrendous conditions in field hospitals led to the emergence of modern nursing, with Florence Nightingale playing a pivotal role in improving hygiene and reducing mortality. Meanwhile, the use of railroads, telegraphs, and other modern technologies marked a shift in how wars would be fought in the industrial age. For the Ottoman Empire, the war was a complex mix of opportunity and exposure. On one hand, the support of Britain and France provided a temporary lifeline, affirming that the empire was still an important player in European politics. On the other hand, the war exposed the deep weaknesses in the Ottoman military, administrative, and financial systems. Despite its alliance with modern European powers, the empire remained dependent and vulnerable. The alliance was not based on mutual respect or shared values, but rather on strategic necessity. The British and French supported the Ottomans not out of love for the empire, but to counterbalance Russian influence. This reality was not lost on Ottoman leaders, who understood that their empire was increasingly seen as the sick man of Europe. Nevertheless, the Ottoman military performed with determination during the war. Soldiers from across the empire, including Arabs, Turks, Kurds, and other ethnic groups, fought side by side. The war created a rare sense of unity among the diverse peoples of the empire, bound by the common cause of defending their land and sovereignty. The Ottomans also used the war to push for internal reforms. Sultan Abdulmejid I intensified the Tanzimat reforms during this period, aiming to modernize the military, improve administration, and secure equality for all subjects regardless of religion. These efforts were partially influenced by European pressure, but also reflected the empire's recognition of its internal challenges. The war ended in 1856 with the signing of the Treaty of Paris. The treaty neutralized the Black Sea, barring any warships from entering and limiting naval arsenals along its coasts. The Danubian Principalities gained autonomy, and Russia agreed to respect the territorial integrity of the Ottoman Empire. For a brief time, the treaty gave the Ottomans a sense of relief and international legitimacy. However, the deeper problems remained unresolved. The costs of the war were immense. Tens of thousands of lives were lost, including many from disease and poor medical care. Economically, the war strained the Ottoman treasury, increasing dependence on European loans and deepening financial vulnerability. Politically, while the Ottomans had been saved from Russian domination, they had also become more tightly bound to European interests. The aftermath of the war also altered the balance of power in Europe. Austria, which had remained neutral, found itself isolated, while Britain and France emerged with greater influence in Ottoman affairs. Russia, humiliated and weakened, turned inward and began reforms of its own. For the people of the Ottoman Empire, the war left a complex legacy. There was pride in having stood up to a powerful enemy with the backing of major European powers. Yet there was also a growing awareness that survival required change. The old systems of governance, military structure, and economic management were no longer sufficient. The Crimean War exposed the Ottoman Empire's fragility, but also ignited a sense of urgency for reform and renewal. The alliance with Britain and France offered temporary security, but at the price of increased foreign influence. In the years that followed, the empire would continue to struggle with modernization, identity, and sovereignty. The echoes of the Crimean War continued to shape Ottoman policy and the broader Middle East well into the 20th century. It was a war that reflected the complexities of empire, faith, and power in an age of transformation.